Hello, hello, welcome back. Oh, I didn't put my microphone in. Hold on. Hello, hello, welcome back. These are the 7 books I read in September. And here are my stats. So I had 7 books, 1,984 pages, which is about 66 pages per day. There were 2 new authors and 5 authors I've read from before. 7 were a part of a series. So all of them were series, none of them were things. I think I was really focusing on trying to get my series finished up for this year. That's not going to be possible. Some series are not completed, but I find that the longer it takes me to get through series, the less I enjoy the series because I forget stuff and I'm a goldfish, and if I don't read it fast enough, I forget all of this stuff. Probably because I read so much other stuff that there's only so much that can fit into this long, okay? So then we had 6 audiobooks and 1 physical book. I had so much driving for my work in the month of September. It was crazy. So I had so much audiobook time. And we had the Fable Tracker. Here's that. Shows what days I read everything. And we had 2 dark romance, 1 graphic novel, and 4 YA fantasy novels. Okay, start us off. We're going to start with our 1 graphic novel. This is Demon in the Wood by Leigh Bardugo and Dani Pendergast. This graphic novel is the prequel to Leigh Bardugo's Shadow and Bone. So I decided to pick this one up in preparation for Shadow and Bone. I liked this. It set up the world, it set up the magic, it gave you a good visual on what the magic is. You met the main character, and overall I did like it. At first it was a little bit to get used to, like it kind of just throws you into the story, so it's kind of like you're trying to figure out what's going on, and for that reason I gave it 3.5 stars, where it wasn't bad. It did set up some stuff very well, but because graphic novels don't have very many words throughout it, it was kind of a little confusing to start, but I thought it was good enough that I was like, okay, I have a general good idea of what to expect in Shadow and Bone. And I did read Shadow and Bone. I picked this out of my Read It or Unhaul It series, so you can jump over to that video if you do want to see more. But unfortunately, I didn't love this as much as I was hoping. I gave it a 2.5 star. I didn't realize that this was YA, and I think that was probably a big reason I didn't enjoy it. I am just not as much into YA as I used to be, but I seem to still have a few YA books on my TBR, so I did want to give this a go before I just trashed it. Not that I'm trashing it. I do give them away or I go sell them back. I don't really throw books in the garbage unless they like really make me upset and I hate them or something, but that doesn't very often. And so this one just felt very generic. It felt like every other YA trilogy out there. It wasn't like, I'm not someone who predicts stuff that happens. I'm kind of like, you know what, I'm just here for the ride. I'm here for the good time. I don't want to try to predict what's going to happen. But this I was predicting before, like without even trying. And that's when I'm like, okay, this isn't very good. And I just feel like I know what's going to happen in the series. You know, our main characters are fighting against this evil villain, and of course, like, they're going to get stronger throughout, and then they're going to defeat them. And obviously, I don't know that 100% because I haven't read the entire series, but it just feels like, I just feel like I know what's going to happen in the series, and it wasn't intriguing enough to keep going, so I will not be continuing in this series. I also don't really have much else to say. You can jump over to the Read It or Unhaul It episode if you want to hear more in-depth details on what I thought throughout it. Next up, we have Unravel Me by Tahereh Mafi. This is the 2nd book in the Shatter Me series. I also picked this book for my Read It or Unhaul It, so again, you can jump over there if you want to see more details about this, but I unfortunately also gave this 2.5 stars. I will also be not continuing in this series. This is also YA, and I've heard so many good things about this series, but I I can't do it anymore. She is just an awful main character. I don't know if it's maybe the audiobook, but like her voice is annoying. Her decision making is annoying. Her internal monologue is annoying. She makes the worst decisions, and it's infuriating to read. And I can't do it anymore. I decided that once I finished this, I was like, okay, let me go back, because this book is 2 novellas. It's the Destroy Me and Fracture Me novella. The Destroy Me novella you read after the first book, which I did, and I can't remember what I gave it. Okay, I gave Destroy Me 4 stars. I liked that one. It was in the villain's perspective. It was great. It made me intrigued. But then I read Fracture Me, which is the second novella in here that goes after this one, and it was just awful. It was awful. It was the same. It was like 100 pages of like the same thing that happened like the last 20 pages of it. And you're just like, there was no new information. You're just getting it from a different perspective. It just seemed pointless. It was the same annoying shit, and I can't do it. Sorry. Feel free to, I guess, try and convince me in the comments down below if it's like such an amazing series down the road. I think it has like 10 books, but I'm only 3 books in and I can't stand it. The writing is definitely better than the first one, but no, I can't be bothered. I cannot be bothered. This whole series about this girl, she can kill with a single touch, and the villain wants to use her as a weapon and is also falling in love with her, and she is with the resistance, and she is trying to get away from the villain, and she is trying to help the resistance, but she's not. She's just doing dumb shit and not helping at all. She's just making horrible decisions, and whatever. I'm not reading it anymore, but I have some passionate thoughts in my Read It or Unhaul It, and I clearly still have passionate thoughts about it now. So feel free to jump over there if you want to hear me rant about how I hated this book. But yeah, 2.5 stars, and then what did I give this? I gave the second novella, Fracture Me, 2 stars. It was so awful. It probably deserved 1 star, really, if not lower, but I'm going to keep it where it was at the time I read it. So nothing else to say there. Go ahead and jump over there if you want to hear more. Okay. Next up, after some not so great books, I really needed a palate cleanser. I needed an easy, fun read, and what better reads to do that with than the Ice Planet Barbarians series. These are dark romances following. The first one is there is a bunch of women who get kidnapped and they crash. The spaceship crashes on this alien planet, and they run away from the bad aliens and find good aliens to help them escape the bad villain aliens. So, and then of course they fall in love and then have a run. So, the next one was Barbarian Prize and then Barbarian Mate. So, this one follows Tiffany, and she has gone through some trauma, and her man helps her deal with that trauma and get past it. And then this one follows Josie, and she ends up falling for the one person she does not like, and they end up getting past that, and they are much more similar than they originally thought. And it was a fun, goofy time. Don't take this series too seriously. It's just, it's just fun. It's not the best writing. It's not the best plot. Just go into it, just wanting to have a fun, goofy time, and you're gonna enjoy it. Let's see what I gave these. Barbarian's Prize I gave 4 stars, and Barbarian's Mate I gave 3.5 stars. So definitely liked this one better, and I can't really remember exactly what made me not give them, I guess, 5 stars. I don't think these are ever, other than the first one that really sets everything up, I gave that one 5 stars, but ever since then, I really don't think that these are gonna get 5 stars, but they are just a fun read. And they do have at the end of each book, they have like some bonus chapters, and I always find it hard to read the bonus chapters because it's not that they're boring, but like it's just kind of like filler romance spicy scenes that like don't really like relate to the plot at all. So I mean, I know that that's kind of a lot of what these books are, is spice, but for some reason the like bonus chapters just feel really pointless, so I sometimes have a hard time actually getting to those. So maybe at some point I will read those bonus chapters, but I don't know, maybe I'll just move on. This is the 5th and 6th book in the series. There are 20 books in this series. Isn't that wild? I have bought out up until the first 10 of the series, but after that they don't have these special edition covers, and they have like the older like covers that don't look good. So I don't think I'm gonna continue after 10 unless they update the covers, because I really don't want the ugly covers in my shelves, okay? And that's bad of me to say, but the series isn't good enough for me to continue despite that. So we'll see what happens. I mean, they're all kind of 3-4 star books, nothing crazy, so I doubt that it's just going to become this most amazing series by the end of it. I mean, at this point, like, some new characters were introduced, so I guess that's their way of continuing on, but you're like, how many more characters can they come up? Like, there's only like 2 more people that haven't gotten into a relationship, so okay, that gives you 2 more books. And then I think they discovered some new characters, so that maybe gets you like 2 or 3 more books. But then, like, what do they do for the other 10? Like, who knows? I guess I'd have to read them to find out. But yeah, I thought these were a good time. Very easy. You read them in like one day. Good palate cleanser. And yeah, so moving on. Alrighty, and last book I read in September was Mistress of All Evil. This is by Serena Valentino. This is the 4th book in the Disney Villains series, but I actually have already read 5 of them, so this is actually the 6th one I've read. I just didn't know I was reading them out of order, but it's not really that important to, like, it has little stuff that, like, if you've read them in order, you would, like, pick up on, but it's not necessary. But I would still recommend reading them in order if you are going to read them. But anyways, this one is all about Maleficent and how she became a villain and what her origin story is. I always love these books because they have the, like, once you remove the dust jacket, you have like the villain on the inside, which is obviously her dragon form. And this one I really liked. I mean, I did give it 3 stars. It was average. It is a YA, so it's not something, not that I wouldn't recommend it to people. It's not like amazing, but it is interesting if you really do want to, like, if you are very interested in the villain stories, I would think you would enjoy them. But as just like a regular, like, oh, I like Disney, but I'm not like a Disney person, like, I wouldn't necessarily recommend these. But I did like this one, like, a lot better than some of the other ones. I felt like her story was very interesting, how she grew up and what she was dealing with as a young kid, and how she was being told that she was not normal and was the villain. All she wanted to do was just be good, and then, you know, how it just derailed from there. And it definitely kept me entertained for the time period. They're pretty short, so it's not like, I think it's 300 pages, but this is a very small book in general. And I don't think there's anything else to say about this. I do think that there is like 4 more books in this series. I think the next one is The Queen of Hearts, and then Captain Hook, and Hades. I am excited for the Hades one. And so I will be continuing in this series, but none of them are like blowing me out of the water. So yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I feel weird about filming these wrap-ups when there's books that I just don't have a lot to say about, but I don't want to just ignore that they've been read, but I don't want to just fill the videos with filler for no reason. Like, if I don't have anything to say, I don't have anything to say. So I think that's just going to be it for this one. And that's it. So we had a 2-star, 2 2.5 stars, a 3-star, 2 3.5 stars, and 1 4-star. So I would say not the best reading month, seeing in 7 books, and I only got 1 book that was a 4-star. So not the best. But some of these were chosen for Read It or Unhaul, so that was, you know, it's best to just, you know, they're on my shelves, and it was best that I read them finally after probably, like, Shadow and Bone, I think I've had for years. Like, years I've owned this book. And I am glad to have finally got around to it. And it sucks that I didn't enjoy it, but at least I read it, and I know that I don't want to continue in the series, and I'm glad that I didn't buy the entire series, so that way I wasn't, like, getting rid of a bunch of books. And I continued in other series that I'm not going to continue in, so it's good to know that I'm not doing that. It's good that I'm continuing the Ice Planet Barbarian series, and just getting books ticked off my series list is always a good feeling. So hopefully in the next couple months I will have more 5 stars, and and it'll be a better star rating. But I will keep reading and let you know. Let me know down below if you had any good wins for September, and I'll see you next time. Bye!